Okay, so this is page 7 of our algebra book. We are going to once again do two-step equations and combining like terms all at the same time. We're going to do rows 3, 5, and 6. 3, 5, and 6 on page 7. I have them highlighted. Follow along. I'm going to go ahead and move to a piece of scratch paper so you guys can see my work a little better. And I'm going to start with the first one on 3. So I have 5x plus 2x equals 35. Okay, I'm going to draw my dividing wall. I know that here on the left there, I have to combine those like terms. So 5x plus 2x is 7x equals 35. I know 7 times x, the opposite of that is divide, because we're multiplying. Left hand, they will become an invisible 1. Right hand, I have 35 divided by 7 is 5. I'm going to show you one more time how to check your work in an equation. Original problem is 5x plus 2x equals 35. Everywhere I see an x, everywhere I see an x, I can plug in that 5. Because we know that x equals 5, they're the same thing. So I have 5 times 5 plus 2 times 5 equals 35. So I have 25 plus 10 equals 35. 35 does in fact equal 35, and I did correct work there. I'm not going to do this for all of them. I just wanted you to see that you could plug that problem in, or that number into your original problem and check your work. So next one is 7n minus 3n equals 16. Dividing wall here. I can combine my like terms on the left. So I have 7n minus 3n, which will give me 4n equals 16. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. Becomes an invisible 1 on the left. So I have n equals 4. That's my answer. Next one is 8b plus b equals 27. First, I'm going to do my dividing wall. Second, I'm going to add an invisible 1 there. And now I know I have to combine these like terms on the left. So 8b plus 1b is 9b equals 27. I get to divide both sides by that 9 to get the b all alone. Left-hand side, they're going to become an invisible 1. Right-hand side, I have 27 divided by 9, which is 3. b equals 3. Okay, next one. We have 7y minus y equals 42. Draw my dividing wall here. I'm going to add my invisible 1 so I don't drop it. Now I know I have to combine the y family on the left hand side. So I have 7y minus 1y, which is 6y equals 42. Got to get that y all alone, so I got to do the opposite of multiplying by 6, which is dividing by 6. Left hand side, they're going to become an invisible 1. So I have y equals, now I'm left with 42 divided by 6. And don't forget, you can use your calculator. If you feel like you need to, definitely use it. So y equals 7. Okay, now we are on to row 5. Decimals. Definitely use your calculators for decimals, not to mess up. 2.3x plus 1.7x equals 24. Draw my dividing wall up. I know that here on the left I have to combine these x family like terms. So 2.3 plus 1.7, plug that in my calculator, and I'll get 4x equals 24. Got to divide both sides by that 4. Left hand side becomes invisible 1. Right hand side I have 24 divided by 4, which is 6. That's your answer. Okay, next one. 3.4s minus 2.8s equals 30. Dividing wall there. Okay, now I know that I have to combine these like terms on the left here. So I have 3.4 minus 2.8, and that will give me 0.6x. S equals 30. Going to divide both sides by 0.6 to end up with 6 equals 30 divided by 0.6 is 50. Very good. Next one is 3y minus 2.75y equals 9. Draw my dividing wall up there. So 3y minus 2.75y, like terms got to get combined on the left. So that'll be 0.25y equals 9. Going to divide both sides by 0.25. Left hand side become invisible 1. Right, I'll equal 9 divided by 0.25, which is 36. And that is your answer. Last one on row 5 is 2.5r plus r equals 19.6. Okay, first I'm going to add my invisible 1 and draw my barrier line there. I know I have to combine these like terms on the left. So I have 2.5r plus 1r is 3.5r equals 19.6. Now I know I had to divide both sides by 3.5. Left become invisible 1. Right equals 19.6 divided by 3.5. Give me 5.6. And that is my answer. Okay, so this next little group, you're going to have to combine like terms on the same side first and do another step. So these have a couple more steps. Let's start with the first one on number 6, row 6. 8n minus 3n plus 14 equals 34. Going to draw my divider wall here. Now on the left hand side, I see that I have this n family that I have to combine first. Before I can do anything else, got to combine like terms, always. So I have 8n minus 3n, which is 5n. I'm going to bring my plus 14 down, and also my equal 34. Now on the left hand side, I got to get that n all alone. But before I can deal with that 5 that's attached to the n, I got to deal with everything else that's away from it. That 5 is last. So I got to deal with that plus 14. The opposite of plus 14 is minus 14. So I'm going to subtract it from both sides. Left hand side, they're going to zero out because 14 minus 14 is 0. So I'm going to bring my 5n down, my equals down. On the right hand side, I have 34 minus 14, which is just 20. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. And I'll have n equals 20. Very good. Okay. Next one is 3y minus y plus 6 equals 18. Draw my barrier there. Now I'm going to add my invisible 1, and I know that I got to combine this y family on the left. So I have 3y minus 1y, which is 2y, and I'm going to bring my plus 6 equals 18 down. Once again, got to get that y all alone. Got to deal with everything away from the y first. So instead of adding 6, I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. Left-hand side 6's cancel out, so I have 2y equals, so 18 minus 6 is 12. Now I got to get that 2 away from the y. Instead of multiplying, I'm going to divide it by both sides. Left-hand 2's become invisible 1, so y equals 12 divided by 2 is 6. And there we go. Now I want to show you a trick really fast. We're going to show you that you can also check your work here. 3y, original problem, minus 1y plus 6 equals 18. Remember, anywhere I see a y, I can plug in a 6. Okay? So I have 3 times 6 minus 1 times 6 plus 6 equals 18. So 3 times 6 is 18 minus 6 plus 6 equals 18. So 18 minus 6 is 12 plus 6 equals 18. So 12 plus 6 is 18 equals 18, and that is a true statement. You can always check your work in your equations when you solve for that variable. Just plug it back in. Make sure you go to the original equation. So we're in the second one on row 6. 4w plus 2w minus 2 equals 1. And draw my barrier wall here. Know that I got to combine these like terms on the left hand side. So 4w plus 2w is 6w minus 2 equals 1. Okay, so I got to get rid of that minus 2, so I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So these cancel out. On the left, I have 6w equals 3. Now I got to divide both sides by that 6, become an invisible 1, so I have w equals, if you plug that into your calculator, you might get 0.5, but it's also equal to the fraction 3 over 6, which should always get reduced to 1/2. So your answer can be 0.5 or it can be 1/2, just depending on what the question asks. Last problem. We have 10x plus x plus 7 equals 29. Going to put my invisible 1 there, draw my barrier wall up. I got to combine this x family like terms on the left here. So 10x plus 1x is 11x plus 7 equals 29. I got to get rid of that 7 first, so I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. Left hand side 7s are going to zero out, so I have 11x equals 22. I'm going to divide both sides by 11. Left hand x's become invisible 1, so I have x equals 22 divided by 11, which is 2. And that is my answer.